Can you ride a bicycle from the Dominican Republic to the United States? That was the question my 6th grade English teacher asked me. I looked her dead in the eye and I said, yes. The look on her face was pure defeat. She gave up on me right then and there, and honestly, I gave up on myself as well. I hated English. I didn't understand a word, and I felt stupid. Fast forward to today, I live in Japan, I've lived in Taiwan, I speak Spanish, English, and Japanese fluently, and I can also speak Mandarin. So, how did I go from the dumb bicycle kid to a polyglot? It wasn't school. It was a 20-year-old video game and a very persistent mother. In the early 2000s, I didn't have a PlayStation or an Xbox, I had a Mac Mini. And if you know anything about gaming back then, you know Apple and games did not go together. But there was one game that ran on anything, RuneScape. My cousin in the States introduced me to it. At first, it was easy. Click a cow, get beef. Click a tree, get wood. And the numbers go up. I didn't need English for that. But then, I hit a wall. Most of RuneScape content is locked behind a subscription. Perhaps this might be the OG of subscription on games. Or was it Club Penguin? I don't know. Anyways, I didn't have a credit card and my parents were terrified of putting their credit card info, so I couldn't just buy my way through. To get the best armor or tools, I needed to trade, so I had to talk. So, with Google Translate and the broken English I learned in that class that I hated, I started translating my Spanish into English and then to the game. Selling lobsters, 200. Where's the bank? English wasn't a school subject. It was a tool. It was the only way to make friends, get loot, and survive in this digital world. And because I had a purpose, I finally started to learn. Years later, I'm in my first year of university, driving to campus, and I hear a radio ad. The government is offering full scholarships to study Mandarin in Taiwan. The requirements? Good grades, being handsome, and English fluency. Okay, the handsome part wasn't there, but I remember thinking, wow, I actually meet all those requirements. Too bad that I am not going to apply. And I just kept driving. But when I got home, my mom was waiting and she heard the same ad. Did you hear the news? She asked. I said, yeah, the scholarship? She looked at me and said, you're going. Maybe I should rename this video How My Mom Changed My Life, because she helped me gather every document and push through the application. Because I learned English to play a video game, I was now flying to Taiwan to learn a third language from scratch. Landing in Taiwan was a reality check. I knew nothing. The only things I knew about Asia were the Jackie Chan adventures, Dragon Ball, and Pokemon. I was back at zero. People ask me, how did you actually become fluent? It came down to a mindset I stole from a high school friend. He used to stay up all night playing video games because he thought sleep was a waste of time. I did not stop sleeping, but I did try, to sleep as less as possible. So that meant that every single day I woke up an hour earlier. So in the mornings, I really enjoy the serenity and the calm, the mist. I would sit in the language center and grind out character strokes orders for an hour before anyone else arrived. But writing isn't speaking. To get fluent, I made a rule. Speak Chinese to everyone. Even if my classmates spoke English, I forced myself to use Mandarin. I sought out people who were better than me, and I didn't care if I sounded like a fool. I just wanted to be understood. I wanted the same thing that they had. They could speak to anyone. I wanted that. While in Taiwan, I met a Japanese girl. She wanted to practice her Mandarin and I wanted to learn Japanese. It was a fair trade. We grew closer, got married, and eventually moved to her home country, Japan. When I arrived, my Japanese was okay. But working in a school where nobody spoke English forced me to level up. That final push led to a promotion and the life I have now. So, if we take a look back, learning English to play a game led to Taiwan, a scholarship that allowed me to study Mandarin. This Mandarin helped me to meet my wife, which led me to study Japanese and then move to Japan and work at a school, get a promotion. If you're even slightly curious about another country, start learning the language. It's not just about words, it's about the doors those words open. You might start by trying to buy a virtual sword like I did, and end up halfway across the world with a life you never imagined. If you enjoyed this journey, please hit that like button. It really helps a lot. Bye!